Hey everyone, and welcome back. This is another flow that I've just created. It is pretty complex, and I'm going to walk you through how you can do it as well. So you have this prototype, and I'm going to showcase a couple of things here. I'm going to showcase how to put GIFs in your prototypes and have them play out as intended. And I'm going to show you how to create a really cool story and have that play out. So I mentioned cause and effect. Generally, when you interact with something, there is an effect. There is something that does play out. Most of the time, it's pretty quick. It's a screen transition or a button click, or sometimes it's like a loading bar that could take a couple of minutes. And one scenario where I really see the effect taking super long is when you're ordering something. Now, when you're ordering something off of an e-commerce site, generally you have to wait days for that to ship out and then maybe days to get it through your courier. But when you're doing something like ordering an online delivery for food, you get updated all the time as to what is happening with your food, when your courier is going to be arriving, when your item's being delivered. And I'm going to walk you through that whole process and how to do that within Figma. Now, you'll notice here, there are a ton of frames. And I don't want you to be discouraged, because sometimes if you do want to have something that does play out for a bit, it's going to take a bit of time to actually put something like this together, but it's pretty easy. There's sometimes just small little adjustments you need to make from frame to frame to ensure that things really do move smoothly. And I'm going to show you how I did that. So let's jump right in. So the first thing I want to talk about is placing GIFs. Now, I always say that buttons should have one more purpose than just being like clickable. If you have the ability to use that button to showcase like a process or progress or whatever, you should do it. So over here, I have the checkout button. This is the cart screen, same one over here. But you have this checkout interaction where you click the button, it darkens. You've also noticed that I've been playing around with different types of interactions, whether things darken, shrink, just trying to give users as much feedback as possible. And then in this second screen, you have these bubbles. And if we take a look at that, we'll notice that we have the loader in there. Now we don't have the loader here. We've replaced it, so it's going to dissolve in because there's nothing else that matches it on this frame, but we'll actually have that loader playing out continuously or as long as we wanted to. And that's why we apply an after delay over here of 500 milliseconds, just to let it play out, to give people an understanding of what that transition is supposed to look like. So we can jump right in and I can show you what that looks like immediately. So I've named this one progress update. Here it is. So if I click this button, so you already see this play out. Let's do it again. So if I click it, you'll see that bubbly little button just giving me some feedback as to, hey, your order is loading. Let's take a look again. So all it is just placing the actual gift. All you need to do is literally copy and paste it from your desktop. You can drag it in. Totally up to you as to what's easier for you. Now let's go through this larger project here. So you'll notice that in the original designs, we only had a couple of different states here. We also have this driver state that's hidden. So there will be a point where we push up, but we have 4 different states here. One where we are processing the order. And once that's completed, we move on to the order being prepared. So at this state, we're just going to have both of these items on the screen. And this is what I mean about having things transition properly. What I have here is the home button or the home icon. I have it set to 0 opacity. So it's just going to gently fade off the screen. I can show you these interactions as well here. So it's going to be really quick, just like 100 milliseconds, 150 milliseconds in between some of these. This is going to take a bit of time. I have it set to 300. We can even make it take a bit longer. We can do something like 1,000. So I'll show you what it's starting to look like. So let's click. That's going to happen. So we have 1,000 over here. We're going to set the delay to 4,000. And then we're going to set the delay over here to 4,000. So the whole animation will play out a bit like we'll be stalled on the screen, just as if something was happening, like processing order. Now the order is being prepared. So that's great. So now we've gone through this part. I mentioned that you need to actually have this image come off the screen first. So we have it dissolving with the Smart Animate. We are going to be using just the opacity. We're just going to drop it down to 0. And then from here, the next step is to start zooming in on the map. Now this map was pretty easy to make. I would get to this plugin called Mapsicle. I'll show you really quickly. This is what I've used. So you can basically name which area you want. All you have to do is go into Google Maps and grab it within the web address. You can grab these coordinates from there and you can jump in and zoom. So this is 15 and you can define the size of it. You can even define the style. I think I have mine set to light. Yeah, that's the one I chose. You can even have it set to dark. So you have a lot of options here. That's the plugin I've used for here. So we have Mapsicle. We have the map in the background. This is the map. And we got to be very, very cautious about how we place it because we have it at certain coordinates. So over here, I have it at 18th Street near Castro Theater. So I have that placed there, and same with the home. I have it placed on 24th Street and Firefly. I don't know these places, but that's all I know about where I'm setting these icons. So I just make sure to keep that very consistent. So when I do scale the map up, I'm scaling the map up and I'm moving the icon to the spot. So we are going to stop right there. We're going to take a break and then we'll jump into the second half of this prototype.